Hello, good evening. Time again for Business Live. I am Emmanuel Abuaji Riafe. Coming up in today's edition, Deputy Finance Minister Mona Quartey calls on banks and financial services providers to support small-scale businesses in the oil and gas industry to enable them to take up huge investment opportunities in the sector. Cocoa Board committed to using cocoa syndication loan inflows to ensure that cocoa production target of 900,000 metric tons for the next crop season is achieved. And Vice President of Global Alliance for Trade Facilitation, Donaya Hamami, is challenging Parliament to urgently ratify the World Trade Organization Trade Facilitation Agreement that will be on their business agenda tonight. Those are the headlines. You can always tweet at Joy Business GH is our handle, and on Facebook, Joy Business is our page. And for more business news, log on to myjoyonline.com/business. We're taking a short break. The details come up shortly.
Business Live today is brought to you by GCB Bank.
Thank you very much for staying on Business Live and welcome back. About $1.8 billion from the cocoa loan syndication is expected to hit the Bank of Ghana's accounts in the first week of October. This was after Cocoa Board had signed an agreement with some 24 banks in Frankfurt, Germany. The following Business Desk report has more.
The $1.8 billion is primarily expected to help Cocoa Board finance cocoa beans purchase from farmers for the next 1 year. However, one of the major beneficiaries of this inflow will be the stability of the Ghana cedi. This is because the inflows will increase Bank of Ghana's international reserves, possibly to $6.7 billion in the first week of October. One should also not forget about the inflows from the Eurobond donors and the IMF. All these will hit the central bank's account within the next 2 months. This could convince importers, banks and businesses that the central bank is in a good position to support the market with the needed dollars to meet the country's import needs. This could prevent a situation where people demand dollars to protect their investments when they don't actually need it. This morning, a dollar is likely to be sold to you as 3 Ghana cedis, 96 pesos.
Meanwhile, Deputy Chief Executive Officer of Cocoa Board, Dr. Francis Opong, says they are committed to using the inflows to ensure that cocoa production target of 900,000 metric tons next crop season is achieved.
Normally, around this time every year, when the loan is announced, Cocoa Board meets its stakeholders to have what we call the PPRC meeting, to determine the various allocations that will go into the financing the crop. And that was with respect to what we pay to farmers and what we pay to hauliers, what we pay to for quality control and for other activities, and that includes the fertilizers, insecticides, the fungicides, the seedlings, and so on. So that is will be determined at that meeting. We made to ensure that the targets that we set ourselves, the 850 to 900, that's what we're saying for 16-17, 850 to 900, so that we could support our farmers to produce that. So long as we also have the blessings of the rains coming at the right time in the right quantities.
Now, the $1.8 billion secured by Cocoa Board is seen by some analysts as the biggest trade deal covering commodities like cocoa in the world. Experts are predicting the Ghana cedi could stabilize strongly against the US dollar in the coming months, following expected inflows from the cocoa loan syndication. Investment analyst Samson Aklegu comments on the impact on the cedi's performance. He was speaking on the marketplace.
we have seen a lot of policy development in recent times that I think in totality makes this loan syndication really reinforce a positive outlook. Most importantly, we have seen the monetary policy rate being maintained. I think this week we've seen this loan syndication. We have also seen the central bank being more open to allowing commercial banks to keep directly their export proceeds that actually pertains to them. So I think that the loan syndication is actually an additional market comfort in terms of FS stability, and I support that orientation. This is how this is how I look at it. So you have election coming, you expect people to be concerned, and a lot of policy decisions so far has reinforced the fact that people don't need to be as much concerned as before, and the cocoa syndication is also another positive news in that regard. So we've seen the monetary policy rate being maintained. Right now we are understanding that the cocoa syndication has gone through, and these are all positive sentiments, and it should help in market stability.
Away from that, Deputy Minister of Finance Mona Quartey has called on banks and financial service providers to support small-scale businesses operating in the oil and gas industry to enable them take up huge investment opportunities in the sector. This, she said, will enhance local participation in the oil and gas industry. Mona Quartey was addressing a stakeholder forum to engage financial institutions on ways to deepen SME participation in the upstream petroleum sector.
Ghana's burgeoning oil and gas sector will need support of financial institutions to grow. Since its inception, small and medium-scale enterprises are yet to derive the desired results from participation. Experts say this will require collaboration of both oil and gas sector players and commercial banks to be able to develop innovative products to meet the current growth demand in the sector. According to the Deputy Minister of Finance, Mona Quartey, the sector requires high capital requirements. She therefore urged adequate support from the various financial sector players to enhance the necessary revenue generation.
Distinguished invited guests, for the oil and gas industry to deliver on its share as a strong contributor to economic growth, there is the need to promote convergence, integration, and development of the entire financial services industry in order to exploit the full potential for effective financial intermediation and sustained growth. Private equity financiers can step in to bridge the gap. Typically, these private equity financiers would originate from the sector with specialized skills, know-how, and experience to understand the commercial and sustainability aspects of the projects and the risks and challenges of the industry. And I'm glad that we have a public bank within HFC to assist in this area.
Chief Executive Officer of the Petroleum Commission, Theophilus Eshering, noted there are enormous investment opportunities in the sector which banks can tap for investment. He therefore called on the financial sector to collaborate through syndications to enhance their financial strength to be able to fund major projects in the sector.
What we are saying is that there is a host of investment opportunities, a host of products, and the tenors run from a few months to a number of decades if you have the appetite. So don't let one item, one headline just frighten you, but there are many areas that you could actually finance. And if you want to think about the quantum, obviously you will be concerned if the capitalization of the local financial industry is somewhere in the region of $1 billion or so, and one project is about $6 billion. Obviously, we need to understand how we play the industry. We don't just back off. I think that we could go through syndication, we could go through leading, arranging, and whatever, even in just financing a project. And then there are many other areas when we talk about the products as well.
Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Nelson Ma, said the oil and gas sector needs financial support to grow and asked banks to get on board to support industries in the sector.
The emerging oil sector will continue to need the support of the financial institutions to propel developments in the sector. The huge investments in the sector require that financial institutions beef up their capital base to undertake big-ticket transactions to support the growth of the sector. In many instances, the financial institutions that have attempted to support the petroleum upstream industry are institutions that are internationally active and have the large capital to absorb the potential risks inherent in the industry, as Mr. Irene has said. It must be noted that most of the non-performing loans that have bedeviled the banking sector in recent times is basically as a result of some of the banks' exposure to the oil and gas industry in the country.
Meanwhile, a report by Pan-African Bank Ecobank Ghana could become the fourth biggest oil producer in sub-Saharan Africa by 2020 once two new offshore fields come on stream to push total output above 240,000 barrels of oil per day. The African country produces around 103,000 barrels per day, ranking it ninth, far behind leaders like Nigeria and Angola, which produce an average of 1.867 million barrels of oil per day and 1.75 million barrels per day, respectively. The Ecobank research says Ghana's Trinidad and Ntome field, which came on stream last August, is expected to increase output to a peak of around 80,000 barrels. The Jubilee field, which started producing oil in 2020, could bounce back to production of around 115,000 barrels per day once it solves technical problems with its production vessel. At the same time, the Sankofa field, operated by Italian company ENI, is due to open in August 2017 and should produce around 30,000 barrels per day, while U.S. independent Cosmos Energy plans to connect Mahogany Teak Akasa MTE field to the Jubilee oil production ship. The report says based on existing fields and field development plans, Ghana crude oil output is estimated to be over 240,000 barrels by 2019. This is on the Business Live. We're taking a short break here. We'll be right back.
You are welcome to the Business Agenda, and today's agenda throws the spotlight on the trade sector, where the Vice President of the Global Alliance for Trade Facilitation, Donia Hamima, is challenging Parliament to urgently ratify the World Trade Organization WTO's agreement for trade facilitation. According to her, further delay in ratifying the agreement would not only send wrong signals to the international community, but also impacts the economy negatively, especially in the area of revenue mobilization. 92 countries have ratified. We need 110 ratifications for the agreement to enter into force, and I really hope that Ghana will be one of the first 110 to ratify. Around 12 countries have ratified right now in Sub-Saharan Africa, and also countries in the region such as Mali and Senegal recently as well. Each country has their own political process, governments, parliaments, etc. But we really, really hope, and I think especially local business here in Ghana really hopes that the Parliament will ratify it as soon as they return in October into their session again, to really give that signal internationally and domestically that the government is very keen to empower its local business community and really help them to better engage in cross-border trade. And I think also in e-commerce, internet opportunities, smaller companies having the opportunity to actually get their partners, suppliers, clients anywhere on the globe, just because of the internet breaking down barriers, but only if they actually know how to export and which forms do you need. Is it what kind of agencies are involved, to have it transparent and predictable, also in terms of supply chains and global value chains. So what reaction to this call? Well, the head of operations for International Courier Company, DHL Express West Africa, that's William Jangba, has added his voice to the call, and he's also charging Parliament to urgently ratify the agreement. In his view, a number of businesses across the continent, that's Africa, are poised to invest in Ghana once the deal is sealed.
What our hope is that government and parliament would ratify the trade facilitation agreement. We believe it will go a long way to help our businesses improve, and also the cross-border. Back to the presentation I gave, when you look at the Africa to Africa trade, we're talking about only 7%, which is very, very low. We had a similar conference in 2012 in South Africa in Pretoria. Now, some of the interesting facts that businesses in South Africa were coming up with was they are looking for partners in the West. Partners in the West because they want to run certain products that can go across the whole year through. Because of the Southern Hemisphere and where we are, they believe that if they have good partners, reliable partners in West Africa, we should be able to have businesses run across the whole year without having to stop because of the weather changes, etc. So we feel that if government is able to be a bit flexible and ratify this at the parliament level, the sky is the limit, really.
William Jangba is the head of operations for international courier company DHL Express West Africa. Do join us again next week for another edition of the Business Agenda.
That was Kuku Abande with the Business Agenda. You get a repeat of the same report in tomorrow's edition of the Marketplace. It's now time for the interview of the day.
Interview of the day.
CEO of the Millennium Development Authority, Engineer Kweku Safo, has been shedding more light on the transaction structure for the ECG concessionaire arrangement.
Called for applications for qualification. Those who think that they are qualified to be the concessionaire should submit applications. We had 78 entities. I'll call them entities because some of them are consortia. We had 78 entities expressing interest, so to speak. And we received the request for qualification documents, and 11 entities actually submitted their documents for qualification. The evaluation was done by an independent body, and they provided a short list of 6 entities out of those 11. It is these 6 entities to whom what we call the bidding document or the request for proposal has been sent to, and we expect to receive their proposals within the next 5 months, actually in early 2017. And when we receive them, then the proposals will be evaluated and the preferred bidder selected, and then the negotiation, and then the process for approval will take place, and then they can take over the concession.
The 6 shortlisted companies. What are their identities?
Well, I will refer you to the details that we have issued. There are 6 companies. We have one from France, we have one from Italy, we have companies from Ghana who are in consortia with other companies. They are all 6 of them. I'll have the full list of their addresses on our website, and I want to refer you to our website. But there's an Italian company, there is a company from Philippines, there's a company from India, there are companies who are in consortia with Ghanaian companies.
To yet another edition, to the end of yet another edition of Business Live. Thank you very much for being with us. Let's meet again tomorrow, same time, for another interesting package. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji Biafi. Up next, Focus on Africa.